How's it going, everybody, and welcome to my review of Stuber, a movie directed by Michael Dowse, and it stars Kumail Nanjiani as an Uber driver named Stu, who is saddled with a vision-impaired cop played by Dave Bautista, who's chasing a criminal, terrorist, cop killer kind of a guy, and Indian Uber driver, visually impaired cop. Put them together and hilarity ensues. Well, no, it doesn't really. But anyway, so to get me through this review, I had two choices. One was a bottle of tequila, or alternatively, I could rope in the efforts of my very good friend Steve from Rewind Replay. How you doing, Steve?
Dan, thanks for roping me in, friend. I'm going well. Not necessarily from having watched Stuber, but it's great to be talking to you again. It has been far too long since we've had a good chat. So unfortunately, we've got to talk about this.
It's actually been just over a year since I came down there and we did our Ant-Man and the Wasp stuff. So I'm so happy that we're finally doing something together. As I said on Twitter, the band is back together for one show only. Although I'm sure there'll be plenty more shows down the track. But thank you for helping me out with this because, what a movie, huh?
As I was saying before we started recording, man, it's kind of a shame that Bongo is not doing this one. It's great to be working with you, but I think Bongo would have gone ahead and ripped some real shreds into this, mate.
No, he loved it. I see every movie with Bongo. He's always with me in spirit in a way. And, he loved it. But I didn't. So look, going into this movie, I didn't really know what to expect. The trailers looked okay, but I didn't really know. But I like Dave Bautista, and Kumail's funny in what I've seen him in. But we also had a supporting cast of people like Karen Gillan and a barely recognizable Mira Sorvino, whose plastic surgery seems to have just gone way out of control, and she can't move her face anymore. Which is a bit of a shame because, she was hot. But, so things I liked about this movie. Wow. Dave Bautista is always likable. I mean, he's just such a charismatic presence on screen. Kumail Nanjiani, I wanted to like him, but I absolutely loathed his character. I'll get to that shortly. It was great seeing Bautista and Karen Gillan together, although they're not in it together for very much. Steve, help me out. What did you like about this?
Oh man, I'm with you. I actually thought the premise, though very, it won't be relevant in 5 years' time. There'll be another app that sort of does what Uber's doing. So this movie is going to have a very short lifespan of it being anywhere near relevant. So I knew that going in, and I was willing to look past it because I do like Dave Bautista. I think he's got a lot of potential. And Kumail's generally pretty funny, but I have a feeling they kept him very, on the chain here. He wasn't really given the ability to riff the way that he normally does. Like, in The Big Sick, he was so funny, but that was his writing. This, I feel like whoever was doing the writing wasn't writing to suit these two guys that can be very, very funny with the right writing behind them. It just never gelled for me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I thought the chemistry between the two of them was non-existent. I don't know. There was, like you said, the potential for this movie could have been good. Uber is like a relevant sort of thing. You got these two completely mismatched characters it's not a spoiler, that they learn things about each other from being put together in a typical buddy cop, not buddy cop movie, but it's the sort of thing we've seen 1,000 times before. That was the thing with this movie. I just sat there bored from start to finish because I felt like I'd seen it all before, and at around 90 minutes I felt like it was about a 3-hour movie.
So it wasn't the only one, I'm glad. I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs for ages, waiting for something to happen. It never really felt like it went through the normal acts of a movie. It just sort of kept on going. I'm like, when's this actually going to start moving? And I think the biggest wasted actor in this entire film is Iko Uwais from the Raid movies.
Mm-hmm.
They did nothing with him.
Yeah.
He's one of the best action martial artists in the world at the moment. Certainly one of the best who's just made his way into Hollywood. And they didn't utilize him at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you've watched The Rage, you know what this guy can do. Why not put him... I was waiting for him and Bautista to go toe-to-toe, and they did so little of it.
Yeah. And this movie was just littered with little things that bugged me. Like, there was a scene where Stu was sitting in his car and I don't know if he was talking to that hot chick that plot basically went nowhere. But on the side of the screen, you see like this long blonde hair sort of go into frame, like right next to his window. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, who's this? Like, this is going to be, leading into a joke or something. And then whoever that was, they're not there anymore, like, for the rest of the scene. It's like, was that just like an extra getting in the way, or like, huh? And towards the end of the movie, Stu's looking at his phone and it's on 100% battery. And I'm like, man, you've just like, at no point did he charge it or anything. It's just, he's gone through this whole night using his phone for the whole day or whatever, and it's on 100%. Like, there were so many little things that bugged me in this film.
Oh, yeah. And that whole third act is littered with, dare I say, foreshadowing from earlier on. Like, just nothing but cliches that you would have seen coming anyway, but then they go ahead and like sort of dump them on you. Late Act 1, heading into Act 2. It's like, and you're like, you can see how this third act is going to play out to the T. And sure enough, it does, which removes any of the cool stuff they could have done at the end, because you know exactly how it's going to work, beat for beat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's foreshadowing, and then there's telling the audience what is going to, like, blatantly what is going to happen. And this movie definitely did the latter. I mean, it was so predictable, and just pointless.
And the fact that the movie's meant to go ahead and explore the idea of these two guys growing, one to be more manly, one to open up and express his feelings a bit more. And I just found that didn't really work either, because you had Kamal's character who's meant to be aiding Bautista in finding out who he is on the inside. But Kamal didn't even know who he was on the inside. He was a blubbering mess most of the movie. And spent his time trying to defend that. And I'm like, this is a guy who doesn't know himself, trying to help someone else discover himself. And it's like, that doesn't work. Like, you don't have a psychiatrist that needs psychiatry trying to help someone else through a psychological mess, And I just didn't see how that was going to ever work throughout this entire film.
Yeah, totally. And I also found, I mean, like I said, I did not laugh once in this entire film. And I just found a lot of the humor was just from Kamal just kind of yelling out what is going on at that time. It's just like, I don't know, like for some reason they thought it would be funny to write this character just sort of yelling out what's happening right here and now, or cutting to close-ups of cute animals' faces and stuff. I mean, down from me in the row, there was this little old lady. She would have been maybe in her 70s, 80s or something, the signature blue hair, kind of portly, and she was laughing her ass off through this whole thing, but I kind of got the impression that she hadn't maybe been to the movies since about the mid-80s or so. So, maybe this movie might appeal to people who don't get out much, just put on a fresh diaper in the morning, heading out to the pictures, to see the latest picture show. Yeah, maybe it might appeal to some people who, but yeah, for people like us who have seen this all before, yeah, it was a terrible mess.
And was it just me, or was there a lot of blatant product placement throughout this movie? Like, blatant product placement.
Oh, yeah.
Right down to entire sets.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just apps on the phone, but just, yeah, oh, man. You can tell where this movie got its budget from.
You can indeed. In fact, I'm actually surprised they went with an electric car that undoubtedly got given for free, and then went ahead and treated it like complete crap and used that as a sales pitch for the car. Yeah, it leads me to the one funny part I thought they were building up to in the whole movie. They end up cheapening by explaining it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what are you doing? That was actually something that I chuckled at. Then they explained, I'm like, oh, you killed it, like, instantly. Kamal just explaining everything like a commentator did not work.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, his jokes just relied on explaining what we were looking at, like, but yelling it in an Indian accent, which that's not funny, And I also, did you get the impression that Dave Bautista's blindness were like, it was only there conveniently. Some, like, you know, he was meant to be severely vision impaired. Yet there's a scene where they're walking along and he manages to pick up a rock and throw it through a shop window and everything. I'm sort of sitting there like, so hang on, you're better now, but he's not. And like, yeah, he seemed to lapse in and out of that a lot.
Yeah, it was a very convenient plot device, that one. It's when we need it, we'll bring it back, but when we don't, we'll get rid of it, which was a shame. Once again, though, it just seemed like a really weak idea to go ahead and have this entire thing happen.
Yeah.
And the fact that his relationship with his friend at the start of the movie wasn't really fleshed out much. I was like, I don't really buy into these guys being like, you know, the typical partners. But I didn't get that like at all. The waiting to like, were they partners? Were they? Was she new? Like he was like talking her through it, but then they were apparently partners. I was like, they haven't fleshed this out or explained it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I didn't get his motive moving forward.
Yeah, like there was no chemistry between anyone really, and like everyone just seemed shoehorned in as a plot device. Like, I can't remember her name, but the hot girl that he was going into business with, who, you know, wanted to Harry met Sally with him. Yeah, like I kind of get that she was there to sort of help him, you know, be a bit more assertive in the end or whatever, but yeah, just shoehorned in. Like, no one felt like a natural part of the story. This whole story was just, I don't know, it was like the writer was sort of sitting there like, what can I do to make this go forward? I know, I'll put this in. Like, yeah, and just nothing felt like a natural story progression. The narrative was just so forced.
Yeah, and she's one of many characters in this movie that play that role. Like, just need to move this movie forward with an inconsequential addition to the film.
Yeah. So yeah, look, that's pretty much all I got to say about this film. Yeah, like I said, look, if you don't get out to the movies very often, you know, if the last movie you saw was maybe E.T. or something, you might like it. If you're maybe 80 years old and you have blue hair, like, you know, hey, this could be the movie for you. But yeah, look, for me personally though, I didn't find much in it other than potentially it might have had a good story. Dave Bautista is always good on screen, so I'm going to give Stuber a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dan. This movie did not bring a lot to the table at all, despite having a lot of the tools in place to actually make something cool happen, if very short-lived. So I'm with you. I'm going to give this a 2.
Yeah. Is that out of 10 or 5?
Definitely out of 10.
Or 100?
Either or, mate.
Yeah. Alrighty, so, yeah, unfortunately, you know, we couldn't have maybe picked a better movie for us to discuss, which is a real shame because, yeah, like, oh, man, Steve, thank you so very much for joining me on this review. I'm so happy to have you as part of this, and, yeah, we really need to do it more often.
That we do, man. Thank you very, very much for having me on board, despite the fact we had to talk about, well, Stuber, but any excuse will do, man. So hit me up anytime. I'll be happy to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, and look, in the meantime, if you guys have been unfortunate enough to endure the pain that is Stuber, yeah, let me know what you thought of it. And by all means, look, if you like the film, absolutely no judgment. I mean, you know, this is all, you know, we all see movies with a different set of eyes, and I am not going to dislike you or anything if you liked Stuber, so let me know what you thought of it. So, yeah, and also, I'm going to put all of Steve's Rewind Replay social media links and everything down in the description. Please, if you have not already subscribed to his channel, you need to, because, yeah, I mean, look, chances are if you've subscribed to mine, you've probably subscribed to his as well. Our channels are like brothers. They're like there's more chemistry between our channels than there is a visually impaired cop and a shitty Uber driver. But yeah, go right ahead, click all the links, follow him on everything you possibly can, and drop him some love. Steve, do you have anything you'd like to say to the good people before we go?
Just how much I really like that shirt you're wearing there, Dan.
Yeah.
If mine wasn't in the washroom every morning at the gym yesterday, I would be wearing mine.
Yeah, okay, I kind of did think maybe we'd wear our matching Movie Talk Rewind replay shirts, but oh well, this day has just been one disappointment after another, but that's fine. And yeah, so if you guys have seen Stuber, let me know what you thought of it. Drop me some comments either here, Facebook, or Twitter. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies and I would love to talk about movies with you. Catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.